Hey everybody, it's me, Kel Matthew again. So I was just talking with my girl Valerie about chemical reactions. She was wondering how these reactions happen in our bodies. Well, I told her it was all about enzymes. Now you might be asking yourself, Self, what are enzymes? That's a good question, Self. Enzymes are an important class of proteins that speed up chemical reactions. We already know all about proteins, right? Almost all the body's structures are made from proteins. Skin proteins, muscle proteins, hair proteins, even proteins in our eyes and bones. We also already know proteins are long chains of building blocks called amino acids. When you string together like 300 or 500 amino acids, they start to fold up into really complex shapes. Look how crazy these guys look. And that's important. A protein's shape is everything. A protein's shape determines what it's going to do. If you mess with its shape, you might mess with its ability to work. But we'll talk about that later. Well, enzymes are proteins, but they don't make up body structures. I think of enzymes like the workers of the cell. Enzymes break up large macromolecules into smaller ones. Or they can even make large biomolecules from their smaller subunits. This is crazy important. If it weren't for enzymes, these reactions would never happen. Let me give you an example. Oh, here's one I read about the other day. There's a chemical in our brains called uridine monophosphate. It has something to do with brain health. Now this chemical forms all by itself, but check it out. It would take 78 million years. 78 million! It would practically never happen. But thanks to this enzyme, instead of millions of years, it happens in less than a second. That's crazy. Here's a more familiar example. We have an enzyme in our saliva called amylase. The job of amylase is to break down large chains of sugar into simple sugars. Starch is really just a bunch of glucoses joined together. Well, we remember we need glucose for cellular respiration to make energy for the cell. So, how does our body get at all these glucose molecules? No worries, starch breaks down into simple sugars all by itself. After thousands of years, you would have to boil the starch to begin the breakdown process. That would mean you would have to boil your mouth, and that's not going to happen to this mouth. But it's okay. Amylase speeds up this reaction, and the starch breaks down after only a couple of minutes. Thank you, amylase. So here's how enzymes do their thing. They lower down the energy these reactions need to get going. Think about it like this. If I want to make some money, I can open up a lemonade stand like this cool guy, right? But what if I need $100 just to get it up and running? If the wood and lemons and whatever cost too much, I'll never open the stand and I'll never make any money. What enzymes do is lower the initial investment of energy. They lower the activation energy to get the reactions ball rolling. See, the enzyme lowers the amount of energy it takes to get started and make the final products. Here's how enzymes work. You start off with your substrate. A substrate is a starting reactant that will get broken down or joined together with other substrates. In our example, starch. The substrate fits right in the enzyme. Then the enzyme does its thing. It breaks up the bonds or maybe forms a bond to attach some molecules together. Then it goes right back to its original shape, ready to do it again. See, look at this figure for a bit. The enzyme speeds up the reaction, but doesn't get used up in the process. Now here's where shape is so important. The substrate has to fit perfectly into the enzyme. It's like a lock and key sort of thing going on here. Obviously, if you change the shape of the lock, the key's not going to fit in it anymore. So you got to make sure the protein's shape doesn't change. And that's how our bodily reactions work. While you're there sitting on your bum, enzymes are hard at work. They're copying DNA, breaking down food, repairing cells, and making all these things we need to survive. They speed up reactions by lowering the activation energy needed to get started. Enzymes fit around the molecules like a lock fits a key. So thanks, enzymes. We couldn't do it without you. So I hope we all learned something today, but until next time, it's Kellen Matthews saying, if I told you an enzyme joke, do you think I'd get any reaction? Y'all take care.